As a Magi in the Hellenistic period, I found myself on a quest to seek knowledge and wisdom. See, I had heard tales of a wise and mysterious figure known as Ostanes, a renowned Magi said to possess incredible powers and insights. Determined to meet this figure, I journeyed through the ancient lands of Persia, navigating hot deserts and mountains until I arrived at a remote temple hidden amidst the arid plains. My nerves were, well, kind of all over the place as I held my hand up to feel the intensity of the temple before walking in. There was a palpable energy that ran through the tips of my fingers. I took a moment and gathered my bearings, taking a deep breath in, and then I took a step forward. There, in a chamber adorned with ancient text and mystical symbols, I finally met Ostanes. He was this elderly man with a flowing white beard and eyes that seemed to hold wisdom of the ages. He asked me to sit with him for a while, and there was this knowing inside of me that he had a lot to share. As we sat cross-legged on the floor and the flickering candlelight cast a dancing shadow upon the wall, Ostane began to speak in this voice that resonated with a profound calmness within me. He shared stories of his travels to distant lands. He shared the secrets of the stars, and he shared the mysteries of the natural world. He spoke of alchemical transformations and the art of divination, of the power of herbs and the elements, and he spoke of the beauty of everything being connected. Ostane's words were like a river of knowledge flowing through the corridors of my mind and opening doors to understanding that I had never really imagined. We spent hours discussing the arcane arts, and he shared ancient scrolls and texts, some of which had been passed down through generations of magi. And as we talked, I felt a deep sense of reverence for the knowledge and the wisdom that had been preserved through the ages. And before I departed, Ostanes presented me with a small vial containing a rare elixir, and it was said to grant clarity of the mind and vision. Now, he advised me to use it wisely and to also continue my journey to seek knowledge and understanding. In leaving the temple, I felt transformed, carrying with me not just this elixir, but all of the insights and wisdom that Ostanes had shared. Our meeting is something that will never be forgotten. It was a moment that I will forever cherish, a meeting of magi in the Hellenistic period that would shape my destiny and inspire me to continue to pursue all ancient knowledge. Welcome back. Our journey has kind of turned on this path, of exploring alchemists of the past, huh? I mean, at this point, we've talked about Hermes Trismegistus, and we've talked about Maria the prophetess, the axiom of Maria. And I gotta say, I love side roads. Well, we are back with another journey into the beyond to explore more alchemists that really made an impact within alchemy so many years ago. Now, as I was looking into legendary alchemists, the name Ostanes popped up. And I don't know, it kind of struck this like vibrational chord within me. And usually when that happens, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to look into this. There's something in that for me. Now, to my understanding, this isn't just like one particular person, but a group of Magi's and alchemists. Ostanes, to my understanding, is like a Persian pen name used by several authors of Greek and Latin works from like the Hellenistic period and onward. It kind of seems to me as if they passed down this pen name like from a long line of Greek and Latin thinkers, possibly throughout a family line. I mean, that's just my suspicions. I didn't see that pop up anywhere on my research, but I mean, I imagine there may be an Ostane out there somewhere today. Maybe they don't even know it. But I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm finding the Hellenistic period to be quite intriguing. I mean, there are so many discoveries and inventions and, well, tons of magic and magical people. So much progress in arts and literature and theater and architecture and science. Yes, and alchemy. So we're kind of in this period of around, let's say, like the 320s BC to like 30 BC. So yeah, the Ostanes, Hellenistic Magi's. Ostane was said to be a master sorcerer or master sorcerers. So that's pretty interesting. So join me on this journey into the beyond as we take a trip into history. Now, there isn't too much information out there on Ostanes. I mean, with an unclear specific identity, I suppose it would be hard to really write about him or them. Yeah. Ooh, guess what? Looking into this, my suspicions must be on point because one of the names that shows up for Ostane was Zoroaster, which the Greeks considered to be the founder magi of the magical arts, right? And he was also the spiritual founder of Zoroastrianism, which, to my understanding, was the first monotheistic religion. And reading further into this, I can see that Ostanes is like a long line of Magi descendants said to be from Zoroaster. Yep, probably an Ostane out there today, don't you think? All right, so, this Ostane was said to have been a Magi who traveled with Xerxes. Oh, did anybody else's mind pop up with the scene in the movie 300? Oh, I love that movie. That is such an incredible movie, right? Well, yeah, that's Xerxes. I mean, Persian princes, they did learn the basics of the religion Zoroastrianism. So, kind of feeling like there's this connection there. A little bit of wiggle room for magic and Magi Ostanes. Yeah. It's also said that Ostanes introduced magic to that country. Now, here's where that descendant thing, that line of Ostanes comes in because another Ostane shows up as a companion of Alexander the Great. Uh huh. See, there was this guy, Pliny the Elder, who wrote about this in his book, Natural History, and said that Ostanes spread magic like a downright madness or rabies and had people lusting over it. And he also said that many philosophers like Plato and Democritus, my tongue don't want to act right today, Democritus and Pythagoras would travel all over to study this magic of the Ostanes, right? So that's pretty cool. Pliny also said that Ostane's definition of magic is, quote, as Ostane said, there are several different kinds of it. he professes to divine from water, globes, air, stars, lamps, basins, and axes, and by many other methods, and besides to converse with ghosts and those in the underworld. Hmm. I mean, with all of this magic running rampant, it almost feels like Pliny didn't really like this too much. It almost feels like he's kind of biased. Like, what do you mean, downright madness? Wahaha. Yeah, I don't know his views completely because I have not read his book, Natural History, but from the context and the way that I'm reading about Pliny, in these blips about Ostanes, yeah, I really don't feel like he cared too much about magic, right? Yeah, with all this studying of magic going around, by the 1st century, Ostanes was cited as a authority on alchemy. Go Ostanes, all of yous. See, Ostanes at some point became a writer in his knowledge, and a lot of alchemical material began to circulate under his name. His authority with alchemy continued in Arabic and Persian texts, like in the Book of the 12 Chapters on the Honorable Stone. Huh. I wonder if that there is talking again about the Philosopher's Stone. Hmm. Now, we did talk about the Philosopher's Stone, so if you happen to miss that episode, make sure you go back in the playlist and find it. This whole thing right here is just this one big journey into gnosis, knowledge, alchemy. And now we're kind of going down this detour route of great alchemists of the past. So, very, very interesting stuff. Even though Ostanes wasn't the founder of magic and alchemy, he certainly played a really big role in it. I mean, can you imagine having the nerve to like write about this stuff back then? I mean, you're coming from, kind of this place of like polytheistic views and then moving into the religious context with, this monotheistic religion coming about. So, Astrianism and it's kind of starting to box things in a bit, and then you have someone that's starting to write all of these texts, scrolls, I imagine, about magic and telling people about magic. I mean, can you imagine kind of stepping outside of the box and following suit? That in my mind probably took a lot of courage. And I can imagine there was probably some fear about moving in that direction, about, even exposing himself as a magi. Yeah. I really feel like there's this palpable type of energy here that's like, oh yeah, he had to be courageous. And, thanks to people like him in history, we can actually learn so much about the art of alchemy. I mean, and a lot of philosophy in itself. I mean, come on. People like Plato and Democritus and Pythagoras went abroad, went traveling to study these magic teachings from this magi, right? So, yeah, this to me is like one of those foundational type of people, even though there isn't a whole lot out there about Ostanes or the Ostanes. Like, how incredible is it that they even took part in this alchemical journey? So, yeah, I definitely see this figure as one of those pieces of the foundation of alchemy, and how it has transformed into what it is today. Yeah. Well, that about does it for this journey into the beyond. So, I do hope you'll join me next time, catch me next time as we continue to journey into Alchemists of the Past. So, until next time, keep journeying into the beyond, keep journeying within to you, and I will see you next time.